My people, welcome to the Catholic Citizen. It's great to have you week in and week out as we cover this week's news from a Catholic perspective. And buckle up, baby. It's going to be a great show. I'm feeling a little sick, so that's why we're doing this from my basement today. But, folks, we're covering the championship, which was Monday night. Big disappointment for us Notre Dame fans. But congratulations to the Ohio State Buckeyes. But we got to take a look at President Biden's pardons, the inauguration, Elon Musk, and whether or not he made a Nazi salute, all today on the Catholic Citizen. All right, so let's get to number one. All right, let's get to it. I didn't know if Nick was going to do the intro there or not, so we did the intro. That's great. All right, number one, congratulations, Ohio State Buckeyes. They defeated my Notre Dame Fighting Irish 34-23 Monday night, and I'm just happy that the Irish made a game of it. It looked like it could have turned into a blowout, but I wanted to cover this because did you notice that the Lord orchestrated, I think, all of this in some way, shape, or form? And yes, the Lord does care about football. He's not necessarily going to answer our prayers when we want our football team to win, but he does care. He cares about everything, and everything he's using for eternal salvation for folks, right? I think it was St. Bonaventure. It could have been another saint. He said, like, when we get to heaven, we're going to be able to look at a particular chair that God has, and he's going to be like, he's going to tell us how he used that chair for people's salvation, because everything is ordered in this universe to kind of get us home to heaven. That's what God wants. So anyway, the football game. This is what Notre Dame quarterback Riley Leonard said about these two teams. And why did Ohio State and Notre Dame make it? I mean, obviously, they're very talented, both very resilient teams as well. But quarterback Riley Leonard said this: throughout the week, us and Ohio State, we were the two teams who praise Jesus Christ the most. And I think that we strengthen each other in our faith through coming to this game and competing against each other. And I couldn't agree more. Again, great game. Notre Dame fought back. A few mistakes here or there. We could be national champions. But this tends to happen. Every team that I end up rooting for, they never win championships. One time, the Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron James, we brought it home. But anyway, all right. Number two, Biden, President Biden, no longer our current United States president. And before Trump was inaugurated, though, again, everything that he said he was not going to do, he did. So he was asked when he was running for president, what did he think about Trump's preemptive pardons? And he's like, oh, it's just a sign of, obviously these people are guilty and so on and so forth. Well, what did President Biden do? All right, on his final acts as president, he pardoned who? Dr. Anthony Fauci. Can you imagine all the crimes that? So he pardons Dr. Anthony Fauci, General Mark Milley, and members of the House committee that investigated the January 6th attack on the Capitol. All these individuals, oh, by the way, right now are not under current investigation. So President Biden is pardoning people even before they're even under investigation. Look, that lays a very dangerous groundwork for President Trump for years to come, for next presidents, to start pardoning their friends who haven't even been accused yet of a crime. Now, this is interesting, though. Look at the last four presidents and how many people they pardoned. Bill Clinton, he pardoned 459 people. George W. Bush, in his 8 years, pardoned 200 people. Barack Obama, in his 8 years, pardoned 1,927 people. So we have a jump up there a little bit. Donald Trump goes back down. He pardoned 1,740 people. President Joe Biden, who we were told is just, he's the institutional man. He's going to bring back sanity and calmness to the office of the presidency. That's why we elected him, right? In his 4 years, he pardons 8,064 people. Again, the closest to that is President Barack Obama, 1,927. President Biden pardons 8,064 people, including his own family. I mean, you talk about a man of the system, 50 years in Washington, D.C. All right, Trump's inauguration, number 3. Did you notice that the vehicles that carried President Trump, they had anti-drone equipment on top of those vehicles? Just kind of interesting there. But his speech, look, it wasn't a normal presidential acceptance speech. I will give you that. He didn't pull any punches. He was talking about policy. And one of his policies that he talked about was declaring that his government, moving forward, the United States government, would only recognize 2 genders. And a neat thing about this executive order that's already been signed, they acknowledge that life begins at conception. So really beautiful executive order here by the president. But one thing that struck me from the inauguration was Carrie Underwood. The music wouldn't play. So when she was called up to sing America the Beautiful, so she says, I'll just sing it. And she knocks it out of the park. Absolutely fantastic. Amazing. We love you, Carrie Underwood. All right. One other thing on executive orders, we haven't seen the Mexico City policy reversed yet. Again, this is the global gag order rule, which keeps our taxpayer dollars funding any organizations which promote abortion overseas. And we haven't seen that reversed yet. So pay close attention. Hopefully that will come tomorrow during the March for Life in Washington, D.C. And God bless all our pilgrims heading down the march this year. For the first time in like 15 years, I won't be there. I'm really, really sad. But there's a reason for that, and I'll get to that later in the show. All right, number 4. Did you see the Episcopalian bishop who scolded Trump at the National Cathedral prayer service after the inauguration? This is unbelievable. Mariann Edgar Budde, she's 65. She's the first woman to serve as spiritual leader of the Episcopal Diocese of Washington. Now, she's butt heads with President Trump other times, and people are giving a hard time. Kayleigh McKinney from Fox News said, how dare she get kind of political from the pulpit? Kudos to her, Reverend Budde, for getting political from the pulpit. I wish that our conservative pastors would get political from the pulpit. We need people to be political from the pulpit. This is issues affecting the human person. So I don't chide her for that. I just think she's way off base with what she said. And she's incredibly inconsistent with her own views. So she says this, that gay, lesbian, and transgender children are fearing for their lives, trying to scold President Trump. Now, President Trump was the first president coming into office back in 2016, actually, who acknowledged coming into office that he was pro-gay marriage. Barack Obama, if you recall, believed that marriage was between a man and woman, and then his views on this evolved. President Trump was the first one who said, I believe in gay marriage. Now, I disagree with President Trump on that. But Reverend Budde believes that, LGBT people are scared because, President Trump's coming up. Maybe it's because people like her and the people in the media are scaring them that President Trump, the first president, actually supported gay marriage, is going to attack them. All right, number 2. On immigrants, she says that the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals, adding that they are good neighbors, faithful members of our churches, mosques, and synagogues, gurdwara, and temples. I don't know what a gurdwara is. Maybe that's somebody. Let me know in the comments. Anyway, with that being said,
I have no idea what that is. It was very confusing when she said that. Just wanted to interject.
Well, no, thanks. Well, look it up. Would you make yourself useful here in the show? All right.
I don't know how to spell that word.
It's in the notes. I sent it to you. All right. So, and then she says, our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were once strangers in this land. I don't disagree with that. I think we can be merciful to immigrants and understand the challenging circumstances they're coming from. And yes, I think President Trump needs to be careful not to insinuate that he thinks that every immigrant is a violent criminal and so on and so forth. But here's where I have issue with her comments. If you go up and look at some of her comments about the human person, for example, she'll say that she has an ethic of life, but that her ethic of life allows for abortion. So she's chiding the president on being merciful, on being caring to the weak and vulnerable in our society. Meanwhile, she thinks it's okay to starve or dismember a child in the womb. The blatant hypocrisy, the blatant inconsistency of these people. If you can't get that first issue right, I question the very rightness of all your positions in any other issue affecting the human person. You think it's okay to kill a baby, but then it's not okay to, all right, what do we got? The Gurdwara is a Sikh place of worship. Okay, great. Well, people who worship there, we respect you. I don't know much about the Sikh religion, but
I
yeah.
made myself useful, though.
Thank you. Praise the Lord. All right, get that off the screen. Here we go. All right, number 5. Okay, this is great. So get ready for, and I don't even know if I'm using this term properly or not, but gaslighting for the next 4 years. And this is the perfect example. Elon Musk comes up, and I hesitate to even do this because of someone maybe capturing the screenshot and then using it against me. But, the man's got interesting mannerisms, okay? I don't. These are all perfectly normal mannerisms to talk with one's hands. However, Elon Musk, he comes up and he's just saying, thank you. Thank you to everybody, right? Around the arena during the presidential parade and everything. And PBS snapshots this. They got his arm raised and they say, Elon Musk is doing the Nazi salute. Did you see that? I mean, the amount of gaslighting here is unbelievable. That they just want to pick anybody who doesn't agree with them, particularly on, if you're on the right, you're conservative, as a Nazi. I mean, it's just like insane. So there's some great memes going on of Hillary Clinton kind of doing this and AOC doing this as well. But it's just absolutely unbelievable. All right, number 6. You know what else is unbelievable? Our last story here. And then stick around because in the after show, I'm going to be talking about Barack Obama. But the number 6 story that you should be aware about here going on this week is what took place in the United States Senate. So first off, kudos to Bernie Moreno, our new United States Senator from the state of Ohio, who's just been on fire thus far. So very pleased with his work there in D.C. But the Democrats just voted against, once again, the Born Alive Protection Act. And all this does is say that if a baby survives abortion, not outlawing abortion in any way, shape, or form, but simply if the baby survives the procedure where the baby is going to be killed and it's outside the womb, they voted not to protect the baby. That baby does not require life-saving medical treatment. And the people that don't provide that life-saving medical treatment, they won't be held accountable. They can let a baby die after surviving a botched abortion. That is your modern Democratic Party. If you are a Christian, a Catholic, a person of goodwill, try to look at this just for a second, objectively. Do you want to be a part of a party that doesn't want to protect babies after they have been born? Because all 47 Democratic senators voted against this act. It's inexcusable, it's awful, and it's evil. All right, folks, State of the After Show. We're going to be talking about former President Barack Obama. Yeah, Nick, go ahead. I can't hear you. Nope. And I can read your lips a little bit, but well, thanks. You totally had us. You were doing a great job. You looked up the Sikh temple for us, but then you have a lot of work to make up, Nick, because we couldn't hear a word you had to say. All right, guys. Nope, can't hear you still. No, you're just ruining the show. No, I'm just kidding. You're not ruining the show. All right, guys. If you are not a part of Exodus 90, last thing I'll share with you, if you're a man and you're seeking to better yourself, to grow in holiness, I want to encourage you. And again, Exodus 90 is not sponsoring the show. However, Exodus 90, if you're watching, you can sponsor the Catholic Citizen. I want to encourage you to go to Exodus 90 today. True freedom to do God's will. It's a series of aesthetic exercises, fasting, that will help you grow in holiness. And God, we need strong men today. So please join me and other men in Exodus 90 for the next 90 days as we seek to grow in holiness. And that's it for the Catholic Citizen this week. God bless you guys. Catch me in the after show. Just pay $1. You can come talk about President Barack Obama.